June 28, 1959. A quiet town in Alberta is about to awaken to a nightmare that will haunt Canadian history forever. 7 bodies, 1 grease pit, a family wiped out in their sleep, and at the center of it all, a charming young ex-con with a crooked smile, a suitcase full of pajamas, and no clear alibi. Was Robert Raymond Cook a cold-blooded mass murderer, or the ultimate scapegoat in Canada's most chilling, unsolved mystery? Raymond Cook, 53, was a hardworking family man in Stettler, Alberta. Alongside his wife Daisy, a gentle 37-year-old woman who once taught in local schools, they raised 5 children in a modest home: Gerald, 9, Patrick, 8, Christopher, 7, Kathy, 5, and baby Linda May, only 3. The Cooks were known as private but kind, the sort of family who left their porch light on and their doors unlocked. They lived a quiet, predictable life. But on June 25, 1959, that normalcy was shattered. In the early morning darkness, someone entered the Cook home. There were no signs of forced entry. Inside, the parents were shot in their beds with a double-barreled shotgun. The 5 children, still in their pajamas, were bludgeoned to death with the butt of the same weapon. The killer didn't just murder, they exterminated. 3 days later, police opened the garage and looked down into the grease pit. What they found would change Stettler forever. Suspicion quickly fell on Robert Raymond Cook, Raymond's 22-year-old son from a previous marriage. He had just been released from prison days before the murders. That alone raised eyebrows. Then came his bizarre arrest the day before the bodies were found for fraudulently trading the family's station wagon. Inside the car's trunk, children's pajamas, new bed sheets, family documents, even school report cards, but no sign of his family. When asked where they were, Robert gave police a series of erratic stories. First they'd moved, then they'd given him money, then silence. But was Robert guilty or simply unstable? Months earlier, while serving time, he'd been struck in the head with a lead pipe by a fellow inmate. After that, his behavior grew erratic, paranoid, and volatile. To some, he seemed broken. To others, he was a manipulative sociopath who could charm and lie with ease. When police investigated, nothing in Robert's stories added up, but nothing definitively proved he was the killer either. Could a mentally fragile man really have murdered 7 people without leaving any clear evidence? The turning point came not from fingerprints or a smoking gun, but from what Robert carried. Why did he have multiple sets of children's pajamas? Why had he packed up family photos and birth certificates? Was he fleeing a crime scene or preserving memories of a family he swore was still alive? One haunting detail stuck. Robert claimed his father gave him $4,100 to start a new life, yet no one, not even Raymond's best friend, had heard of such a plan. The lie unraveled, and suddenly, Robert was no longer a strange son with a dark past. He was the prime suspect in a massacre. Before trial, Robert was sent for psychiatric evaluation. Just days in, he escaped. His vanishing act triggered one of the largest manhunts in Alberta history. Helicopters, soldiers, dogs, the full force of Canadian law. Robert claimed he only ran to visit his family's graves. He was captured, tried, and convicted, but only for the murder of his father. The prosecution chose to focus on a single charge for a cleaner conviction. Robert maintained his innocence to the end. He even penned a final poem in his cell, insisting the real killer was still free. On November 15, 1960, at 12:19 a.m., Robert Raymond Cook was hanged in Alberta, the last person ever executed in the province. He was 23. To this day, debate rages. Some insist Robert was a liar and a killer. Others believe he was mentally ill or framed. His own lawyer called himself a fence sitter. His eyes were donated to science, his body to research, his secrets buried with him. Was justice truly served, or did Alberta hang the wrong man?